Hello everyone, welcome to my Programming in C Lesson 2 tutorial. I'll be going over the Hello World program. It's a very basic program for beginners. And so, if you watched my last video, Lesson 1, on how to install the GCC, you'll have noticed that I did do a basic version of this. I kind of quickly went over it, but I would like to go over it in more detail in this video, and so you guys can grasp a little bit more of the definitions of what is in the program and what it means step by step on how to make this program. So the first thing that we're going to do, if you haven't already downloaded Notepad++, I would recommend doing that if you're going to follow this tutorial. Notepad++ I found is just generally a nice platform to work with in C. So go ahead and create a new file, and you can save it somewhere where you know it's at, either on your desktop or in a file that you made. I usually save all my programs in a C programming folder, but I'm gonna use the desktop for this tutorial. So in the beginning, when you're first starting out in C, one of the first things that you might come across is this include Stdio.H. So how the computer reads that is that when there's that number symbol, it indicates that this is a preprocessor directive. The include means that we're going to include a file which is pre-made by previous programmers. We're including the stdio, which stands for the standard in and out files. So what we use with that is the printing function and the scanning functions. That allows us to print to the screen, which we will do in this tutorial, and scanning, which allows you to input information into the computer, and we'll go over that in a later tutorial. The .h stands for header file, and it is surrounded in the angle brackets, which means that it is looking for that file as a system file. And I'll include some more information about that in some links. So the next thing we'll be going over is the main function. And the main function is where everything in your program is going to be executed. And without the main function, your program will not run anything. And anything that is not included in the main function will not run either. So the int is short for integer, which means that this function will return an integer value such as 0 or 1. The word main is the name of that function. After that we have the parentheses with the word void in it, which means that there are no parameters being used in this function. After this is called the body of the function, which is in between an opening and a closed curly brace. And when we use the return keyword, we're returning the value of 0 to the main function, followed by a semicolon. This will tell the computer to end the program. A thing to note is that the words int, void, and return, they are all called keywords and cannot be used for names for functions or for variables, which we will go over later. So the next thing we're going to do is print the hello world to the screen. And we do that by using the printf function, followed by parentheses, and then whatever you want to print has to be in the double quotes. And so you type the whatever you want in the double quotes and then close it with the parenthesis followed by a semicolon. So what you've created here is now a fully functional program, but first we have to compile this and create it into an executable. And so to do this, we're going to go to our command line, and so you go to your search bar, type in cmd, and press enter. The next thing you're going to have to do is find the location of where you saved this C file, and just make sure that you save it, and then make sure you know where it's at. So mine, I saved it to the desktop, and so I'm going to have to change directories, or file location in other terms. So we do this by using the cd command, and then just type in the desktop. As you can see, that changes the location of where we are to the desktop. And the next thing you want to do, since I already know that my file is in the desktop, I'm just going to go ahead and compile it using the GCC and then -C for compile and space, and you're going to type in exactly the same way you saved the file name as, with the .c and everything. And there it goes, it compiled successfully. We know that because there's no errors that popped up or anything. If there are errors, just double check your work, make sure you typed everything correctly. The next thing we're going to have to do, and I'll show you guys real quick what that did. So when we compiled it, it created an object file, this .o, which is just a bunch of, it's called an object file, it's just a bunch of computer language, machine code basically. And so we're going to have to create that object file into an executable, just like this ski32.exe. And so to do that, we type gcc -o, and then you give it a name, whatever you want, something simple, so hello world, and then space, and that'll be the name of your executable. And so after that, we type in what we want to create into that executable, which is the hello world.o. And as you can see, we just created this hello world.exe. And so when we run this, you can just open it on here on your desktop, and it just popped up really fast, basically because there's only one thing it does and then it closes. So if we type in hello world in here, it prints out the hello world. So and that is going to be all for this tutorial. I'm going to be posting on my blog a more detailed description of this code, and you'll be able to download it and mess around with it on your own. I will also provide links to all the information on here so you can do your own research about the include, the main function, the printf, everything. And so I encourage you to go take a look at that. And so I hope this helps you guys out understand the very basic program if you're just starting out programming. I tried to make it geared towards you guys. I know it's pretty hard to understand at first. You just got to really understand that this is a language just like any other language, like English or Spanish, any other language. It's just a language, and it's going to take some real hard studying to understand what it all does and what it means. But programming is one of those things where it can really help you out in today's society, where everything is going towards computers, and the job market is full of opportunities for programmers. And so anyway, I'm going to keep doing these tutorials. I think the next tutorial I'm going to do more on the printing function, on how to print different things and what you can do with the scanning function as well. I'll go over that. And if you guys have any suggestions on what you want to learn or how I can improve my videos, please leave a comment or send me an email through my blog, and I would greatly appreciate it. So